Let's get started.
Okay. Yeah, this is strange enough. This is the most awkward part for me.
I hate it.
The saying hello.
Just this, this 3 second awkward silence, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
Hello, welcome to Critical.
I know, it's the weirdest part, and the goodbye. It's like a very strange, like, you don't do that in normal conversation, but it's something
you don't.
We'll get used to, I'm sure.
Welcome back to this new episode of Critical Arcade, everyone's new favorite podcast. Well, it's mine at least.
And mine, so at least that's 2 people.
Hell yeah.
It's twice more than it used to be.
Yeah, this episode, I mean, this is my unbiased opinion, which is very biased, but this podcast needs way more listeners.
Yes, that's true. And I don't think, I think that's a given. But it's getting there. We're very grateful for the people who have listened already. You know, that's...
Yeah, we've hit some nice numbers.
Yeah, some nice numbers, kind of.
Yeah,
cute numbers. Some cute numbers for now.
Some 2-digit numbers.
yeah, that's it. For now, we will look back at these numbers and just have memories of these cute little numbers when ours are like 6 digits. Next year.
Yeah, for sure. How have you been, David?
I'm not too bad. And yourself, Nick?
I'm also quite fine. A bit sick. I think everyone can hear in my voice the sickness. I'm spouting all over this microphone.
Yeah, you don't want to be within like 10 meters of Nick right now. Yeah, he's ironically not too far away from some of the bad guys in the game we're going to review today. He's very much looking and feeling the same. Yeah, it was like a nice segue, right?
Speaking of, that's an excellent segue, David. Why don't you tell us what we're reviewing today?
Okay, today we're doing a review of the originally 1995 GameCube game, I believe, called Killer7. Also released on the PlayStation 2 and then later on Steam.
Did you say 1995?
No, 2005. Sorry, am I wrong?
2005.
Sorry. Yeah, it is 30 years old. The GameCube's old. No, sorry, 2005.
I was just about to say. But even 2005, that's not new. That's
fundamentally when the GameCube and stuff came out. Like, I think I might be talking nonsense
that so?
Now. Everybody else can correct me in Discord.
I don't know. I don't know my GameCube lore.
Nor me. And it didn't really come out that well in South Africa, did it? I remember when I moved out here a long time ago, I was looking for one, and you didn't have it on the shelves. And as a young lad, that made me very sad.
Killer7. I enjoyed this game. Not initially. It took me a while to learn, to get around this learning curve. But I liked Killer7. I enjoyed Killer7.
Killer7, like I said, I know you don't really watch anime and stuff much.
No.
Killer7 reminded me of watching an anime episode and playing through it. It's a game very much full of like cliffhangers and stuff, and every time something happened, you could almost picture next time on Dragon Ball Z. You know, the credits should come up, and you'd wait for the next episode.
Yes.
At least that's what it felt for me when you were playing through.
That makes sense. I can see that play out in Killer7. I think that might be because the creator of this game is a very eccentric Japanese person.
Oh, very much so, yeah. And yeah, exactly. I think that comes through. You can instantly see, as people know, anime is originally Japanese, and you can see this has the same background.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Killer7 was made by a very interesting man called Suda51. Well, that's at least his persona in the video game industry. Suda51 has made quite a couple of games. Killer7 being, I think, the first.
I think it's his first one. Yeah. I'm not entirely. Maybe first one to the West. I'm sure he probably did some for Japan that we never heard of.
Of course.
Yeah.
After Killer7, he made the No More Heroes trilogy, which just recently trilogified on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Nice word. Now spell that for me. No, shame. I'm not going to put you on the spot. No, the third one just came out, and supposedly very good. It's supposed
I'm looking
to be
forward.
Still balmy and mental, and it is on our list, people. Don't worry.
It's on our colossal
that's supposed
sheet.
To be that's supposed to be quite a decent one, and it is. He's got his own style. He does very a contextually balmy but kind of interesting stuff, all in a big, brightly coloured wrapper.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And Killer7 falls into this style very nicely.
Oh, 100%. Like I say, if I can just let me just build a slight narrative here. Now, when Killer7 on the list, we got the next game and I play it and I think, okay, I think I know what this game is. I think I told you there was a game that came out a few years ago called 13, which was like one of those cel-shaded shooters, like first-person shooter. Never actually played it, and I thought, oh, okay, this is just like one of those. So I switch it on, ladies and gents, and I'm like, okay. And you go in, and the loading screen comes up, and I go, okay, this looks strange. The loading screen and the lettering on it, I think that's a bit weird. And I say, okay, cool. So it's a new game, and then this Joker-esque laughter, just I go, whoa, okay. Maybe I've got this wrong.
It's a bit jarring.
Maybe. Yeah, I was like, okay, so this must be a horror game. And I'm like, oh, no, a horror game. All right, okay. Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not into the horror games, but okay, so I go forwards. Okay. And then you start playing it. You go through this relatively confusing tutorial, and you've got to press all these buttons. And then it's not quite a first-person shooter. It reminds me of an arcade shooter. At least the shooting style of it is. It's very much... you lock on screen, you point your guns, and you kind of shoot the spots. You actually reminded me, have you ever played the arcade game House of the Dead?
Of course I've played House of the Dead.
Yeah, I'm glad. I've got to say, I would have to have come over and probably slapped you if you hadn't. But yeah, it reminded me of that. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's just a horror game like House of the Dead. I used to play House of the Dead, that's fine. And the next screen, finish the tutorial. And the next screen, I've got a what can only be described as a middle-aged gimp hanging from the ceiling who wants to talk to me. And then now I'm like, what is this? What am I playing? like this is it's like this. None of this should make any sense.
None of it.
I've got House of the Dead. I've got a weird Japanese gimp who's helping me out. He was a friendly gimp, but I didn't expect him. You know, he's doing like the upside down Spider-Man kiss move next to me. And I'm like, what? You cannot just this game cannot be categorized.
No, it can't.
It's again, he sticks to his bizarre roots, and this is just very bizarre. So that was my first few minutes of just playing the game up. And you?
Bizarre is the perfect word for this entire experience. Yeah. This is my first trip into Suda 51's insane discography, but I've got to say, the tutorial did exactly what a tutorial shouldn't do, and it confused me even more.
Oh yeah, that tutorial was weird.
A tutorial, it's supposed to help you with the gameplay. It's supposed to keep you walking before you end up running later in the game. But this tutorial did
basically nothing.
Nothing.
I was stuck on the tutorial for about 10 minutes.
Oh man, same.
because I was like, press this button and that button, and then scan this. And then shoot that, and then
center with this button.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, but this can't be it.
No, what's happening? Why am I exploding?
No, it was really, yeah. It was it was peculiar, but you got there in the end. But yeah, as tutorials go, it didn't really tutorialize anything.
No,
it gave you like hints of what you should probably do.
Eventually, after starting the game and playing for a while, and by a while I mean a long while, the controls eventually set in. I was playing with a controller on my computer, and that eventually did it. A keyboard and mouse.
No, we'll come back to that later. Yeah, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Speaking of not making sense, I did not understand a single thing this game was telling me. This hanging Spider-Man gimp, I can't. Iwazaru.
He has a weird name. Iwazaru. Yeah. That's right.
He said a lot of things.
No, he was trying to be as helpful as he could.
In Harmon's name, I did not understand anything that he was trying to tell me. There's a story here somewhere, but it's upside down, it's turned inside out, and it's been painted a lot of colors.
Yeah, like I said, it's, you know, I like the bizarre, and I say bizarre in a good way, like contextually.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I like.
Yes.
We're all used to these things, and then when you watch something new, and you're just like, whoa, that is so weird and strange, but I kind of enjoy it. Kind of, you know, it's kind of that thrill of like skydiving. You know, it could kill you, but I'm going to do it anyway. And it's, you know, it's the same type of feeling you get from like, why am I watching this? And then something happens, and you go, oh, that's a bit different. That's a bit strange. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see Why is this happening? I'll give you, though, in this game, it doesn't explain much.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it really doesn't. It's like, and I watch, ladies, I am a big otaku. I'm a Japanese, I like Japanese stuff. And I've watched some bizarre stuff and tried generally understood it. This game, you know, I'd suggest you probably need a few playthroughs, but that'd be hard to do, to be honest with you. You should play it and then look up what its meaning was in the long run.
You could spend about 2 decades in the Japanese culture, get the context, and then play this game. Maybe that'll make a difference. I do not know.
Yeah, maybe.
From a Western point of view, where we digest Western stories, I could not understand.
Yeah, it didn't really hit those normal markers for what we enjoy as entertainment, did it? I think I got the premise. Now, I don't want to go, like I say, we don't want to jump straight into the narrative right now, but I think I understood the premise.
Then you got more than I did.
Oh, okay. Well, that must be my years of anime watching and all the other otaku.
It could be, but why not give us a quick rundown of the setting or the plot? It's going to be new to me too. Because
it's a very surreal thing to explain to people. Now, I know that all those people who do listen to anime and I'll tell it, they probably follow it a lot easier. But to my knowledge, I actually really bad with the names. Harmon Smith. You played.
Yes.
Harmon Smith is a will-bound assassin who has been fighting on the side of good versus evil fundamentally, and he can what's the word? He can manifest his personalities. Did you get that part?
Oh.
So the seven.
Okay. I knew they were personality. I knew they were all a single entity that could shift between them.
Yeah, that's right. So he's got split personalities, and he could manifest them into being as his assassins. So that was his power.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, it gets kind of cooler now. That's why you had such different different types, but they all worked for the same organization, but the organization is also just one guy. He manifests them into life. That's why they're so extreme. They're kind of extreme to one another. The one that's more of a medic compared to the one with the scopes, who's a bit of a psycho, and the one with the little throwing knives. You know, and they're all different personalities of the main Harmon Smith guy.
All right.
And so that's the most. It sounds bizarre, but that's probably the most logical part, because then there's Heaven's Smile, who I think they're like an anti-political bad guy who was trying to stop relations with the US, and I don't know, and they seem to be doing this with, which can only be described as like zombies with bombs in them, and that I lost context. I don't know why zombies with bombs in them. That said, there were lots of twists. Now, I can't tell you the twists because it ruins the whole story, and people should play it. I think this is a game you should try. But the twists do very much, they feel like the ending of an episode, and then you need to pick it up next week to find out what's next. It did feel
I enjoyed.
I'd watch this as a series more than I'd play it as a game, because it would probably come across clearer that way, because like I said, narratively you didn't quite pick it up. I think I picked it up a little bit because I know Japanese stuff a little bit more, but apart from that does kind of mean it's a miss. You know, if you narratively can't pick it up to your customer base, then you've somewhat done something wrong. Even though, again, I do love Bizarre, and I love Suda51. I think he's a very clever, weird dude. But I think, I don't know, that, like I said, if the narrative was too hard to follow, it kind of means that's a faux pas, so to speak, in my world.
Agreed. That is, I mean, if it doesn't miss, then for this person, there isn't a narrative.
Yeah, exactly. It's for some people out there, it's just point and shoot. Which, you know, that's not fun, is it? It's like Duck Hunt.
No. Before we go on, a narrative, till where did you get to in the game?
Well, I actually played it twice. Well, no, I didn't complete it. It crashed once and I had to play it twice. I don't know what happened. That's later on in performance. I got to the part when you're dual... I don't know, did you get to the guy who was dual-wielding these scoped pistols?
Dual-wielding these scoped pistols? No. I don't think so. I got to the third... chapter. Well, the first chapter was chapter 0. The third chapter is chapter 2.
Yeah.
When you're after the religious Texan Almeida.
That's right, the Texan. I remember. I remember the Texan dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to the start of that level.
Okay. I wasn't too much further than you. I'll admit I didn't complete the game because it just didn't catch. Like I say, we'll tell you. A lot of it came down to gameplay.
100%. A lot of it came down to gameplay.
It really did.
I also liked how a lot of the stages looked.
Yes, visually. Yeah, again, visually, and he does. Suda51, he has his own style, and that you can see that this was the start of it, because it's, I don't know, it's one of those subjective things, and I always worry today, because we're so used to PlayStation 5 graphics and high def this and frames per second that.
Yes.
That you see something that's no longer with that level of like design, that you can see the moisture on the walls and stuff like that. People don't think
fidelity.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't look the great anymore. Whereas this type of visual art style, I like straight lines. I like defined shadows, and I like almost the simplicity of it. It's why, I like cel shading in general in games, even if it's like Borderlands and stuff like that. But I actually enjoyed the simplicity of the cel shading in this game, and even the shading of the character models as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same reason Wind Waker still looks beautiful today.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's true. That's exactly right.
So I think the visuals was also it was probably the best part of this game for me. I liked how the characters looked, as you said. Levels, even some of the enemies, even though they all look the same, they didn't look bad. My favorite was the levels, though. There's one part at the end of the Japanese-themed restaurant.
Yeah.
And at the end of that level, there's this huge square puzzle where you need to...
That's right. Yeah, this game does have puzzles, ladies and gents. Kind of weird back and forth puzzles, but puzzles.
But we can call them puzzles.
Yeah.
The square puzzle, I really liked the way it looked. They didn't use conventional colors for the wood, like brown,
of
dark
course.
brown, and light brown. No, some bridges were bright red, and then the bottom was pitch black. The contrast was
that's true.
So stark, and it carried over to the visuals, and it looked so good.
And I might add, people, if you want a better looking one, this is the Steam version we're talking about. I know that the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 can be a bit, it's not as well rendered and stuff. The Steam version, I think they remastered it ever so slightly apply.
We forgot to mention this.
Yeah, and so that's the one we're talking about, and you can see the difference. And he's right. There's an added aspect to it when you can see the contrast so vividly, the foil to one another. Like when you've got the bright colors and the dark. I know it sounds something simple, but like you said, it does make them pop and adds a degree of adds a degree of like a level of bizarreness. They almost like a Alice in Wonderland aspect.
It looks surreal.
Yeah, exactly. Adds to the whole feeling of the game, and they did do that very well. I must admit, it was quite good.
I liked it a lot. I think bizarre would be one way to describe this, and another word that I think also fits very well with this entire experience would be surreal.
Yeah, well, the whole experience, exactly right. It's like
the entire thing.
You could almost say that you thought it was just a dream, that you just woke up from it, and this was the most bizarre. You're one of those pods of water you stay the sensory deprivation pods. This is something.
Oh yes.
This feels like somebody had one of those, and then they made this game up, and the visuals, all of it was what was created in one of those things. That's just that's a perspective of mine, anyway.
I mean, you can dissect the visuals of this game. You can dissect the feel, the color palette.
Yeah, like everything you can. Correct. Yeah. It's very difficult I always find it very difficult when you are viewing, like say, graphics, because you've got so many things to compare them to now. Like you can't compare a Game Boy's graphics to a PC's graphics, so it's all got to be subjective. And you've got to take into account this game was made for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, the GameCube, sorry, which means that you've got to measure the graphics against those, but with the Steam version, give it a little bit more room because they tarted up a bit. So it's one of those subjective things where we can't necessarily give it a 10, because in today's standards, 10s is what Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West. But comparatively to the genre of the platform that we're talking about, this could be a 10. It is very difficult to do. I find it. We're just delving into it. We're quite new to it now, but there's a lot to learn, and a lot. Hopefully, we're expressing ourselves properly in this regard, because it is very pretty, but it's not Elden Ring pretty.
I mean, if people are giving Wind Waker such praise, for their visuals on the GameCube, then they can do the same for Killer 7.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. That's true. But like I said, Wind Waker was yet again a marvel. Granted, we're not talking about that game right now, but that was also a very pretty game.
We are going to be talking about that game in the future.
Oh
so
yeah,
stay tuned.
no doubt. It's on the list, and I've never played it. I've only played like.
Me neither.
Have you
that's
not?
going to be so cool.
No way.
I haven't.
He's a Zelda fanboy, ladies and gents. I've played like one Zelda game in my entire life, and that was.
Oh, don't say that, David.
Oh, I have. Something to do with seasons. I can't remember what it was. It was for the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, the Oracle of Seasons.
Yeah, that one.
The Oracle of Seasons. That's one of my favorite Zelda games.
It's the only one I've ever played.
Okay, you've been redeemed.
Yeah, okay, so at least I played a good one. If I played one of the bad ones, then this podcast would have been over, I take it.
Critical Arcade, tell your parents.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Now with Nick only.
No, don't leave me, David.
Okay, anyway, where were we? Sorry, we're going off the subject here.
We are. Let's
jump into audio?
Let's go to audio.
No, I don't know. I think there were two aspects to this audio, which I'm not sure if we brought up on the last ones, which I'd like to make, because there's the audio as the soundtrack and the effects. But in this case, and I'm not sure we brought it up, is the voice acting. I thought, the voice acting in this was amazing.
You're right.
Didn't you? Like I said, it's weird. Again, it's one of those contextual things. You got to take into a context, ladies and gents, is that the voice acting now on things like we play and stuff is such a high level that when these games came out, let's say this game came out in 2005, voice acting, especially in games, was kind of a bit of a joke. It was the voices and stuff were there, but there was very little. It was very static. It was very emotionless. There was just phrases that somebody read out. But in this game, they actually, in my opinion, they actually had a emotion. They had connection to the story. They actually, whoever's doing it, I didn't actually look up who it was, did a very good job of the voice acting.
That's right. It's not easy to do when you don't completely understand it, which I'm sure they did after Suda51 explained it to them. But
you got to take into account to some degree as well. I can only imagine the original script was Japanese. So somebody also probably had to translate it into English, which is not an easy task, and then let it make sense in English, and then have to get these actors to be engrossed in what they're saying.
Goodness.
No, it like I said, I think the voice acting this hit the mark really well, which is...
It's a very, very good job. But it fits into a category where it's been brilliantly executed, but in horrible taste.
Yes. Yeah, but that's...
I think there are some bits that, well, at least to my senses, feels like an attack.
Oh, yeah, okay. How so?
When these heaven smiles...
Yeah, the bad guys.
When they laugh...
Yes,
when they scream, it's an extremely unpleasant sound.
Yeah, it's an overload of audio, isn't it? By all accounts. I mean, I got you.
I'm sure that's the point, but why put it in? Why use it as a menu prompt?
Yeah, I know. I found that it did get frustrating each time you had to press it. Now, I must admit that was jarring.
When you're going through the options, all I want to do is enable subtitles.
Yeah.
I go into the options and then I hear them laugh. I go to the audio section. I hear them laugh. I enable subtitles. I hear them laugh.
It's like they only had that sound for their buttons. They were like, oh crap, we forgot to make like a beep 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 noise. We only have this. So the answer was just use it everywhere. Why not?
Just use it. Just Suda said it's okay. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Suda said it was a good idea.
That took a lot of points off of the entire experience.
Yeah.
Because
I can understand
I was in menus quite a bit, going in and out of this game. It just happened all the time. A lot.
No, it did. That's true. And it is, like I said, ladies and gents, it's not a subtle noise. It is a very, very... It's almost the type of sound effect you'd have in a haunted house ride. I don't know if in theme parks, you go in and it's all dark and they super sound this down a tunnel or something just to make you jump scare. And it's like that noise all the time. It is like you can almost hear the trauma that Nick's now reliving just thinking about the noise. But apart from that, how about the music? Did you like the music and the atmosphere?
I did like the music. I liked the music. It was quite a pleasant experience listening.
Yeah, the music matched matched the environments quite well. I thought some
entirely.
of it, it didn't do a bad job at all. And yet again, back in the day, 2005, that's actually quite an achievement. There are so many games that would just either repeat the same song or would have generic noises, like, I don't know, a train or something at a train station. Yeah, they put some solid work into this. I didn't know.
I would categorize this in the same spot we put inside last week, which is this product being a passion project.
Yes, that's especially no doubt. That's especially this side of thing. Like I said, there were aspects. Like I said, the next category we were talking about, you'll see there were aspects that they lost the passion a bit. Let's put it that way. But you can see that they definitely had some very talented people in this one.
I think a spot where the audio also shined was where it would influence the gameplay. When you would enter a level or walk further into like a room or whatever, you would hear a slight chuckle from one of these heaven smiles.
Yeah.
And this is an audio cue to let you know, oh damn, there's one of them in here with me.
That's correct. So
I really liked that. I really liked it when the game would tell me there's an enemy here through audio.
It's like an aspect of gameplay, right? They've added another level to the audio.
Yes.
There's actually a gameplay
exactly.
aspect. Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
That's a part of the game. That's a part of the gameplay I liked from the start up until when I stopped playing. That I think is probably the only part of gameplay that I like the entire way.
Yeah, I'm probably on the same side of that. Like I say, on that segue, should we jump to gameplay? Now, sadly, ladies and gents, this being a game, gameplay, in my opinion, is kind of important. But this, I don't know, not sure about you. It started off okay. Like, I was like, okay. Like I said, I like the old House of the Dead arcade
after that
shooters.
Horrible tutorial, it started off okay.
Let me just point out the tutorial. Most annoying part about it is that its prompts, when it's teaching you the controls, are all for controllers. So if you're trying to use the PC, it's near impossible.
Yeah.
It uses, it says use right trigger to do this, and then you've just got your keyboard and like W, S, D, and A or whatever, and you go like, what? There's nothing. What? You've got to go into that annoying just to find out what your buttons are.
Do I need to press R and T on my keyboard?
No, it was the worst. Like I said, that's how so one of the reasons I restarted because I had to get a controller set up because I couldn't. It's almost unplayable using the keyboard and mouse because
very true.
Like I said, how you got your rhythm eventually. It's so disjointed on the PC that rhythm is really hard to get like the muscle memory for because you're doing this and that and like over there and scanning with this one and it was disjointed.
I couldn't do it.
No, it was, and that's just the control thing. Like, forgive me if I'm taking over all the talking, but it got so tedious. Did you find that?
No.
Really not? I found the
No, I think this is a point where we're gonna disagree. But eventually, I really liked the gameplay.
Really?
Most part of it. The only part I didn't like was aiming.
Yeah, it was not very well configured, really, the aiming.
But I got into a flow eventually. I think in one level I got into a real flow. I think it was the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to stop because I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed the gameplay. I enjoyed exploring everything. And at this specific part, it got its hooks into me.
Okay. Like I said,
and I didn't mind.
There were aspects like like, ladies and gents, it is a very linear game. You're given a path to choose, and you kind of get go left, go right type options, and there's a bit of backtracking and all that. And I actually enjoy that. It's like following a storybook. You can't go everywhere else. You're sticking to the story base, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. It was quite fun, but I just found, especially each time you had to take on one of the Heaven Smile zombie things, the premise was always the same. Zombie, find the weak spot, shoot the weak spot, win, and then repeat.
Yeah.
And repeat and repeat. Now, granted, if you shot the weak spot and you collected blood or something like that, it helped you like increase your like experience and you could increase your character's stats, which was okay. I didn't really see any noticeable difference. Did you?
Listen. Yes, I did.
Really?
Okay, this is, I mean, you've just described the entire gameplay loop, and you said it as if it's a bad thing. I enjoyed the gameplay loop. I liked that loop.
You'd say the exact same thing, but hype it all up. Like,
yes,
all you've got to do is shoot the spots, and then you get to level up. Well, that's
yeah.
What's the best thing about games, though, fundamentally, isn't it? I was reading an article about this the other day. You've got the complexity that is like Elden Ring, and I was looking at the Horizon Forbidden West map the other day, and it's so big. Actually, it's quite intimidating. And and I must admit, there are things like the like Spider-Man and I don't know, Sleeping Dogs. I can't think of all where they're open world, but they're kind of a smaller open world, and there's something more comforting about that. Some people find it overwhelming, it being too big.
I know exactly what you mean. This is one of the biggest appeals to the Yakuza games.
Yes, no, 100%. Yes, that's exactly right. Oh, and
the open world it's much smaller, but it's much more condensed, which means they could make this open world alive.
Oh yes, and the best thing about the Yakuza games is it's the same space each time. But as the years go on, you see the topography of the world change, but it's still the same districts and the same nightclubs that have changed owners and stuff. It is, but there's a comfort in the small open world, which I can understand that the big open worlds can be a bit like, whoa, like,
this is overwhelming.
Yeah, how am I going to collect everything, and how am I going to do all the quests? I can understand that. Sorry, I'm probably going off subject a little bit now. So yeah, the game is linear. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
It is very linear. It's so linear, in fact, and so close to the House of the Dead that this can also be called an on-rail shooter.
Yeah, I really would call it that, 100%. Because
you can't turn sideways. You can only turn around, go back,
it's
turn
backwards
around,
and forwards.
go front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. You press A and he runs forwards on rail. And again, a lot of people really don't like that.
No, I can.
But it vibed. It vibed with me. I liked it a lot. I like just pressing A and it would just move forward. I like the simplicity.
Yeah, and then you just get a choice when it was A, move forwards, then you get that left or right or save and all that.
Yes, or talk to Gimp.
Yes, of course, your best friend Wazaru or whatever. I've never known Gimps to be so friendly. I should make sure I say hello to the next one I meet.
Yes,
but like I said, I like the idea that you enjoyed that. It's like I said, I love the diversity that these things you can get. Like you generally enjoy it. I found it a bit. Like I said, I enjoyed the boss battles. I enjoyed the story as it developed and the twists and turns. And I think I love story games. That's why I'm kind of like a big Final Fantasy fan and stuff. I love a story, and then I like gameplay. And I just think the gameplay just got too boring. It got too. The boss fights were fun. The gameplay was a bit, for me, wash, rinse, repeat. But like I said, I'm a bit sad I didn't finish the game because I know that it's supposed to be quite a big twist at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a bit far right, but it's supposed to be an interesting twist at the end, which I must admit the gameplay stopped me from getting there because I got bored. But then this is the magnificence of games. One person's trash is another person's treasure. I'm not saying this game is trash, by the way. This is actually not a bad game.
No, it's far from trash. I liked it, but the magic of games, one person can feel like this and the other feel a different way, as you said. And it's so good. And I don't understand why people are, no. This is going to be a rant.
I should do that more often because I can go off on one.
I don't have a lot of comments regarding the performance of this game. I think the remaster for Steam did it justice. The HD version of this game, I think, serves well. Yeah,
it's definitely the version to play. There's no doubt, and it runs. Like I said, my computer's not the greatest compared to the other fellows in the podcast, but it did run. It ran fine. Yeah. It ran smooth. It didn't get any lag. I didn't get any problems. That part of it. So it's a hard thing to quantify and review because.
It is.
It ran okay.
If we're being honest, performance might be the easiest to if we're being objective, quantify because it's the only part of this review that does work with numbers.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose that's very true. My version did crash.
What?
But I actually think that was a Steam thing and something. Yeah, but like I said, my hardware. I think there was a hardware issue or something like that, and my whole system jammed up. So I can't say it was the game. I wasn't running anything in the background or anything like that. But who knows? So part of me wants to downgrade it for that, but also I can't quantify if my fan decided to kick out or something. I don't know. Computer stuff. I was a nerd about 20 years ago. I don't even know what's in my computer at the moment. It's got shiny things and lights and all sorts of other things.
If we're talking about performance, it might just be worthwhile to talk about the actual GameCube version. I've got no idea how it ran originally on the GameCube.
The GameCube was actually quite a powerful little console. Now, granted, yet again, I'm showing my years. It was, in my opinion, it was a more powerful console than the PlayStation 2. It was chunkier and didn't sell as well because it didn't have the games that kind of came with it. They kind of dropped the ball there, GameCube-wise, because of Nintendo had the Mario and all that jazz, but very few third-party ones. But I think it was the more powerful beast. It would make sense to why it was so large as well. If you look at the thing compared to a PlayStation 2, it's quite a big unit. I think I can't remember there being any problems with that game. Now, granted, we are talking, I don't know how many years ago that is, like 18 years ago or something.
Right. This is where it gets a tiny bit tricky.
Yeah, I agree.
We bought this game for, what was it, $10? No, not even.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was was it on Steam Special, though? I don't really notice. Have you noticed I checked today what price it is, did you?
No.
Yeah, I checked it today, $20.
20.
Yeah.
Well, this game was remastered, so I can understand why they would charge that, but this game is also 18 years old.
Yeah, and I'm going to have that same problem that I had with Limbo. I think, I think this is one of those games... Oh, sorry, Inside, sorry. See, I haven't even played Limbo. This is one of those games you can only play once, I think. This is me personally. Once you've played it and you've gone through the twists of the story and somehow, understand what's going on... It's not one of those, my an opinion, it's not one of those games I'd have to pick up because I need to play that gameplay again. How about you? Because you enjoyed the gameplay.
I did enjoy the gameplay. I did not consciously understand the story.
Mm-hmm.
But
go on. Would you replay it again?
I don't know about replay, but I would come back just to maybe do a level or two at a time.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, just to have a bit of escape. So that's what, $20 isn't a lot of money, but it isn't a small amount of money.
No,
either.
it's not, especially that's not for us in South Africa.
Yeah, so it's one of those ones that gets, I hate to say it, but I would say wait for the Steam sales again because it's so much easier to grab it for $5 or $8 or whatever it's going to be out then.
For sure.
I don't know if I'm just a grumpy old man who wants to save money and sit on a big pile of coins like Schmurg in Hobbit or whatever. But it just still doesn't seem like the correct price to me. But it's even the remaster is now 5 years old.
It is? Oh wow.
Yeah, 2018 the remaster came out for Steam. So it's not even like if it was brand new, out the gates, yeah, okay, I'd understand the $20 price mark because why not? But like I said, it's 5 years old now. I don't know, maybe that's me. You, too expensive, too cheap, okay, what do you think?
Well, because I'm a cheaper, frugal person. Yes,
frugal,
I'd say
that's the nice way
frugal.
To put it, yeah.
This is a tiny bit expensive, but I can't help but think that this was a full-priced $60 game when it released on the GameCube, and that blows my mind.
Especially when you've got the likes of Zelda on the same platform and stuff like that, and this is, it's competition. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Because you've got a game that will forever live through the sands of time as one of the greatest games that you can play, the Zelda franchise, and then you've got Killer7. It's a good game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually not putting it down. I think everybody should give it a go. I'll be truly honest with you. I think you should pick it up, give it a go, see if you like it, don't like it. It is one of those games, in my opinion.
Yeah, go try it for yourself. Because in this case,
it really is.
David didn't like it, but I turned out to enjoy it quite a lot. I would play it further if we didn't have to do another episode next week.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun thing about it. And we actually eventually look forward to finding out everybody else's views on it and stuff like that. That sounds...
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, it's one of the things that fascinates me about the whole gaming world. The games that release that I look at and go, why would anybody play that? And then you look at and it's got this huge fandom and a huge liking and a huge, and I'd love to know why, like what aspects of it and why you get close to one thing compared to the other. I think that's brilliant.
Why do people like this? I don't understand.
Exactly.
That is,
yeah.
Oh, I might just be making a lot of people mad right now, including you, David. But I don't understand why people like Star Wars so much.
Well, granted, I'm biased because of my age.
With our scores tallied up and put through our calculating machine, we gave Killer7 a letter grade rating of C.
C, yeah. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. That's quite average, or just slightly above average. That's not bad.
Yeah, give it a go, people. Like, give it a go. Enjoy it, don't enjoy it. But, play this instead of Digimon World.
Speaking of giving things a go, this podcast was brought to you by yours truly. Critical Arcade, tell your parents.
Tell everyone, not just your parents. They don't use soft computers anymore.
They don't.
I don't know, tell who uses computers. Tell all young people. They don't know what they're doing. And just
tell all young people and your parents.
Yes, tell them why not. Share them. Let them into your world. Share with your parents. Share, with your church. So I'm going off again. Yeah, share with your parents.
Please leave a rating, a review. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the RSS feed or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's just each and every one of you. If it's just one of you, we're very thankful someone's listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
Yeah, and tell other people. Why not?
And your parents.
And your parents. That's true.
Right.
Cheers.
See you, everyone.